You know I love van life, but here are 5 nagging issues that I have to keep on top of. Welcome to SWELLER'S and DWELLER'S. Braking. Vans are not like small, light cars that you can just brake without even thinking. No, they're big and heavy, and they have a ton of momentum. So if you're not careful, you can warp your rotors. And once you warp your rotors, when you go to brake, you'll get all this vibration. So you have to be really careful because just one hard brake can do the warping. And so the thing is, you have to kind of anticipate while you're driving when you might have to brake. When you're leaving the highway, or you're coming to a light that might turn red, or you're turning a corner or something, you just got to make sure you do it nice and gently and gradually. Because just one hard brake can be enough to warp those rotors. And then you'll be shaking all the time. Another thing in a van are resources. In a house, you don't even really have to think about water, electricity, heat, air conditioning. All of these things you take for granted. But in a van, you have to always be monitoring them. I'm always monitoring my electronic devices so that whenever I'm driving, I'm ensuring that I am charging something. And if all my devices are fully charged, I've got my power bank charging. And with water, well, you always got to be monitoring the level of that as well. When I'm low on water, I'm always thinking about where is my next stop to get water, and do I have enough water to get there? At this stage, I've got enough water, and I'm doing pretty good with the addition of the power bank, so I don't have to be as concerned as I used to, but it's still always something you kind of need to be thinking about. It's not like a house where you can just turn on the water and the water flows, or turn on a light and it goes on, because you always have electricity. No, in a van, you always got to be watching these things. Which leads us to our next nagging issue, and the sponsor of today's video, Fox Park. As you know, I love my Ford Econoline and the build I've created in it, but when I find myself in a tight spot with lots of obstacles, or in a busy parking lot, it makes me kind of nervous. It's kind of an inconvenience because I find myself searching for a spot where I can pull through and don't have to back up, and sometimes this just isn't possible. Yes, I check my surroundings well before getting in the van and reversing, but in a place like a busy parking lot, I'm always worried that someone or something could have moved into my blind spot. I've considered getting a backup camera, but I've always winced at the thought of having to run a wire from the monitor in the cab all the way to the rear to the backup camera, and then also having to tap into the electrical to run power to the camera. It seems like a great solution, but comes with the price of the installation headache. Until I found this. This backup camera from a company called Fox Park has no wires. Not for the monitor to the cab, not even for power. It connects wirelessly to the monitor in the cab, but where does it get its power? Well, it has a built-in tiny solar panel that's always charging the camera's battery whenever you're in the sun. But Sweller, what if it's not sunny out? Well, the battery specs say that if you use it a couple of times a day for a minute or so while backing up, the battery's gonna last 75 days. If you're living somewhere without sun for more than 75 days, you need to think about moving. And if you turned on the camera and left it on for some reason, it should last 7.5 hours. But wait, even if I did run out of power and had no sunlight, I can still plug the camera into the 12-volt accessory port and charge it up that way. No problems, my friends. There's no power wire. There's no wire going to the monitor. All you gotta do is screw it into the license plate. This camera unit is so easy to install, I'm gonna do it blindfolded. This blindfold is no joke. It's certified by the IBAA, the International Blindfold Authorization Association, for complete and utter totality. It's gonna be black. All you have to do is slide this support plate in behind your license plate and then screw it back together. It should be simple. All right, here we go. Let's take a few breaths to calm ourselves. Okay. This is off. Voila! With that job complete, let's head into the cab and fire it up. Just secure the monitor to your dashboard or windshield using the included suction cup. To activate the backup monitor, all I have to do is plug it into an accessory port and then press the button on the adapter or the power button on the side of the monitor. Because I'm taking a video of another screen, of course the quality doesn't look that good, but I assure you, in real life, it looks great. And there's controls to adjust the brightness, contrast, guidelines on the screen, and orientation of the image. So for literally 5 minutes installation work and a couple $100, I've completely eliminated this nagging problem. The next little nagging thing is that the van is small and there's not a lot of room. It's not like a house where you can just leave things laying around and it's not a big deal. No. In a van, if you're not hyper stringent in keeping things organized and putting things away, things can get really messy and really disorganized really fast. So you just gotta be really stringent on yourself to put things away and keep things organized. And kind of hand in hand with that is that things in the van always have to be restrained, because unlike a house, a van moves. And if you ever have to do a hard stop, you cannot have things flying forward. It is very, very dangerous. It always makes me hyperventilate when I see these Instagram photos of vans where they have a magnetic knife block right in back of the driver's head. I don't know if that's for real. I mean, come on. It's just not even remotely close to being safe or sane. You have to make sure everything is properly restrained. In my van build, you know I've got a lot of things beneath my bed, like my water jug and a drawer and some Tupperware bins, and then I've also got a cooler on the side. Well, all of these things are properly restrained when I'm moving with the use of ratchet straps. You gotta make sure everything is safe and secure. And another thing that kind of nags at me is that van life used to be a choice for people. They wanted the mobility, the adventure, the freedom. I mean, look at this. I'm all alone out here. This is paradise. But now van life and even car living are things that are being done more and more out of necessity. It's all people can afford. So I just think there's a big difference between doing van life as a choice with the safety and probably the financial backing that you have when it's a choice versus being forced into it and not having any financial backing behind you because of that. It's just a big difference, and it's kind of a sad statement about our society now. Yeah, I don't know what to think, but I just hope for these people that are forced into it that it becomes a positive experience. Like I say, when you get into it voluntarily, I mean, it can be some of the best times of your life with the adventure you have, the freedom, the beauty, the peace. I mean, it's just awesome. So, I hope people that are doing this not out of choice are able to find some of these positives of van life as well. If you want to see what an average day in my lived van life looks like, check out my other channel, Life in a Tin Can. And if you want to see what my winters look like when I get out of here to developing countries, Most recently to Colombia for $20 a day. Check out my channel. A passport, $1. Bye for now.